If I could give you one power, one invisible force that separates winners from the world, it wouldn't be money. It wouldn't be talent. It wouldn't even be intelligence. It would be the unbreakable positive mental attitude. Because no amount of genius can save a man who surrenders his mind to fear, and no amount of failure can stop a man who commands his thoughts with faith. Listen closely. What I'm about to tell you might challenge everything you believe about struggle, defeat, and destiny. Most people think success is about strategy, about connections, about timing, but that's a lie. The truth is brutal and beautiful. Your attitude decides your altitude. Two people can face the same storm. One breaks, the other builds an empire from the wreckage. What makes the difference? The mind. One chooses to collapse, the other chooses to rise. One sees pain as punishment, the other sees it as preparation. That's not luck. That's mental mastery. You see, life will test you, not to destroy you, but to reveal you. Every setback you face is asking the same question. Can you still hold faith when everything around you falls apart? Because the real war is not in the world. It's in the mind. Your enemies are not always people. Sometimes they are thoughts, invisible invaders whispering that you are not enough, that you are too late, too tired, too broken. But today, we end that war. Today, you will learn how to take back the throne of your mind, how to protect your attitude like a warrior protects his crown, how to rise again and again until defeat itself grows tired of chasing you. This is not just about thinking positive. It's about becoming unbreakable. Because a truly positive mental attitude isn't naive. It's not pretending everything's fine. It's the fire that keeps burning in the middle of the storm. It's the calm that says, no matter what happens, I will not fold. When the weak complain, you will smile. When the world doubts, you will move. When fear screams, you will whisper, I decide. So get ready not to feel good, but to become powerful. You are about to learn the same mental discipline that built empires, shaped legends, and defied the impossible. This is how you develop an unbreakable, positive mental attitude. There are two kinds of minds in this world. One builds, the other drifts. The builder wakes up with direction. He knows what he wants, even when he doesn't yet have it. His thoughts are ordered, disciplined, and alive with purpose. The drifter, on the other hand, moves through life like a leaf in the wind, pushed by fear, pulled by doubt, carried by every changing emotion. He is ruled by circumstance instead of command. And here is the tragedy. Both men have the same brain. The difference is not in their intelligence, but in their mental attitude. The builder says, I decide how I think. The drifter says, I can't help how I feel. That one difference defined destiny, the law of mental dominion. Your mind is the only territory where you hold absolute authority. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can always control what happens within you. The world will try to invade that territory every single day with fear, distraction, gossip, comparison. And if you do not guard it, it will be conquered. Napoleon Hill called this the law of mental control. The mind does not remain neutral. If you do not direct it, something else will. A weak mental attitude leaves the door wide open for negativity to walk in. And once negativity moves in, it doesn't rent, it owns. But a mind trained to hold faith, to stay focused, to choose clarity over chaos, becomes unshakable. You can't stop the waves, but you can command the ship. Builders think differently. A builder doesn't deny difficulty. He studies it. He looks at a problem and asks, what is this teaching me? A drifter looks at the same problem and says, why is this happening to me? That one word, to me, is the signature of defeat. It is the vocabulary of victims. When you stop asking why me and start asking what now, your attitude shifts from passive to powerful. That is the first sign of mental mastery. The three markers of a builder mind: one, direction over distraction. The builder wakes up each day anchored by a purpose. The drifter wakes up scrolling, reacting, drifting. The builder knows that what enters his mind shapes his day, and his day shapes his destiny. 2, faith over fear. Both feel fear, but one feeds faith and starves fear. The other does the opposite. Fear cannot survive in a mind occupied by purpose. 3, action over emotion. A builder acts based on decisions, not moods. He does what must be done even when he doesn't feel like it. The drifter only moves when he feels good, so he rarely moves at all. You can identify who you are today simply by looking at what you obey more, your emotions or your intentions. The choice that changes everything. Every human wakes up each morning standing between two roads, the road of drifting ruled by impulse, distraction, reaction. The road of building ruled by focus, faith, and daily discipline. You cannot walk both. The mind you feed becomes the life you live. Every thought is a seed. Every emotion is water. Every repetition becomes a root. Plant fear and you harvest hesitation. Plant faith and you harvest progress. It is impossible to rise while thinking like a victim, the builder's declaration. So from this day forward, declare, my mind is my kingdom. I command it. I am not a drifter. I am a builder. I choose thoughts that create strength, not weakness. Because once you take ownership of your mental state, the world loses its control over you. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. You stop complaining about storms and start using them to rise. You stop asking for calm seas and start mastering the ship. This is where the unbreakable attitude begins, not in the absence of chaos, but in the decision to remain centered within it. The world does not reward the man who waits for peace. It rewards the one who creates it. And that, my friend, is the first step to building an unbreakable positive mental attitude. The greatest battle you will ever fight will not be against the world, but against the whispers within your own mind. Every man and woman carries two voices inside. One says, you can. The other says, you can't. And whichever voice you feed becomes your reality. The truth is, your mind is never neutral. It is always under influence, either by design or by default. If you do not command your thoughts will command you. If you do not lead your mind, the world or worse, your fears will gladly take the job. The invisible enemy, the mind, is a powerful servant, but a dangerous master. It can build empires, or it can build prisons. When fear takes over, it begins its quiet occupation. One thought of doubt, one memory of failure, one worry repeated 1,000 times. You don't even notice when it happens. You think you're just being realistic. But in truth, you're rehearsing defeat. Every time you dwell on the worst outcome, your subconscious records it as truth. Every complaint becomes a command. Every negative thought becomes a brick in the wall between you and your destiny. The law is simple. Whatever you hold in your mind with emotion, you invite into your life the power of mental command. Imagine your mind as a radio tower, always broadcasting signals. Each thought you send out, fear or faith, gratitude or resentment, attracts things that match it. When you think with clarity and purpose, your life begins to align with opportunity. When you think in confusion and chaos, your world reflects that same disorder. This is not mysticism. It is focus at work. You cannot hold two opposing thoughts at once. So if you do not consciously choose what to think, negativity will choose for you. That is the law of mental control. You can't always control the thought that arrives, but you can always control which one you entertain. Every negative thought that enters your mind is a visitor. Your job is to decide who gets to stay. The weak mind hosts its enemies. The strong mind guards its gates. The builders discipline observation, interruption, replacement. There is a process to mastering your inner world. 1. Observe. Pay attention to what you think. Awareness is the first weapon. The moment you catch yourself spiraling into fear or self-pity, pause. Name it. When you name a thought, you separate from it. You are not your emotion. You are the one observing it. 2. Interrupt. Don't argue with a thought. Replace it. Fear thrives on attention. The more you wrestle with it, the stronger it grows. Instead, shift the frequency. Speak a word of faith, gratitude, or purpose. Say, this is not my truth. I choose power. 3. Replace. Fill the space with something constructive, an affirmation, a goal, a prayer, a plan. The subconscious hates a vacuum. It will always fill it with something. Make sure it's something that builds you. The daily battle. You will fight this war every day. There is no graduation from the discipline of thought, because the world will constantly test your focus through delay, criticism, fear, and temptation. But understand this, every time you win one small battle in your mind, you reclaim power that was once lost. The moment you decide, I choose faith over fear, you send a signal to your nervous system, your energy, and your destiny, that you are the one in command. And here's the miracle. Once you begin commanding your thoughts, your circumstances begin to obey. Because the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of the inner one. The builder's mantra, I am the master of my mind. I am not the victim of my thoughts. I choose what I allow to stay. I think with intention. I speak with conviction, and I act with purpose. Repeat this daily until your mind obeys it like a soldier obeys its commander. Because the truth is simple, your thoughts will not respect you until you prove you can lead them. Master this law, and you master yourself. And once you master yourself, there is nothing in this world that can break you. No mind can stay positive without a purpose that burns brighter than its pain. Faith without direction is like fire without oxygen. It fades fast. The reason most people drift through life isn't because they lack intelligence. It's because they lack direction. They wake up reacting instead of creating, waiting for motivation, instead of mastering their reason for being And a mind without purpose becomes a playground for doubt. The magnetic law of purpose. Every great mind that ever rose above mediocrity obeyed one universal law, the law of definiteness of purpose. Napoleon Hill said it plainly: no man can succeed without first knowing exactly what he wants. Purpose is not a wish. It's not vague hope. Purpose is the anchor of focus and the fuel of persistence. When your mind has something clear to serve, it stops being distracted by everything else. A definite purpose turns confusion into clarity. It transforms pain into direction. It makes you dangerous to defeat because even failure now serves your goal. The drifter's trap. A drifter says, "I'll see where life takes me." But life doesn't take you anywhere. It just reflects what you choose to believe. Without a clear goal, your energy leaks in every direction. You chase too many things, commit to none, and wonder why nothing sticks. Drifting breeds discouragement. Discouragement breeds doubt. And doubt becomes the silent assassin of destiny. Every time you say, "I don't know what I want," you give your power away to the world to decide for you. The builder's fire. The builder, on the other hand, wakes with a vision in his mind and fire in his chest. He sees the end before the beginning. He doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He commands them through movement. Purpose is his compass. Faith is his map. He knows storms will come. But storms can't scare a man who knows where he's sailing. When purpose burns, problems shrink. When vision leads, fear loses its voice. That's why purpose is not optional. It's survival for the soul. How to define your chief aim. There's a reason Napoleon Hill called it the definite chief aim, not just a goal, but the center of gravity for your entire mind. You don't find it by accident. You decide it with clarity. Here's the formula. 1. Decide what you truly desire. Strip away what you think you should want. Ask, what would I still fight for if no one applauded? That's the real desire, the one born from your spirit, not your ego. 2. Write it as if it's already done. Not "I hope" or "I wish," but "I am." The subconscious doesn't understand future tense. It responds only to certainty. Say, "I am building a life of purpose, wealth, and impact." 3. Read it aloud every morning and night. Repetition burns it into your nervous system. Every word becomes a seed of belief that reshapes your identity. 4. Act in harmony with it daily. Each action, each thought, each decision must echo your purpose. Purpose without movement is just daydreaming. Faith plus purpose equals mental invincibility. A man with purpose cannot be broken for long. He may bend, but he does not stay down. He turns wounds into wisdom and obstacles into obsession. Why? Because his direction is bigger than his discomfort. When you have something worth fighting for, negativity loses its grip. You stop asking, "How hard will this be?" and start saying, "No matter how hard, I will finish." Faith gives you strength. Purpose gives you aim. Together, they make you unstoppable. The builder's command: I know what I want. I know why I want it. I know who I must become to deserve it. Repeat that until your cells believe it. Because clarity creates power, and power creates movement. You don't need permission to have purpose. You only need the courage to declare it. When your purpose is fixed like the North Star, your mind no longer wanders, your energy no longer leaks, your attitude no longer breaks. Because a mind anchored in purpose can withstand any storm, and that, my friend, is the power of definiteness of purpose, the engine of every unbreakable positive mental attitude. The mind is not a hotel. It was never meant to host its enemies. Every day, from the moment you wake up, your mind is under siege, not by soldiers, not by strangers, but by thoughts. They arrive uninvited: fear, doubt, resentment, worry. They whisper quietly at first, like background noise. You can almost ignore, but if you do not confront them, they multiply, they build nests, they build roots, and soon they build your reality. This is the great silent war of life, the war within, and the greatest tragedy is that most people never realize they're losing it. The nature of the enemy A. Negative thought is not harmless. It is not just a bad mood. It is an invader, subtle, persistent, and strategic. Fear disguises itself as logic. Doubt dresses up as humility. Resentment pretends to be justice. They wear friendly faces so you will let them stay. But once they are inside your mind, they do not rest. They steal your focus, drain your energy, and poison your decisions. They don't need your permission to enter, but they need your cooperation to survive. That's why your first duty as a master of your mind is to stop feeding your enemies, because here's the truth: what you feed grows, what you starve dies. The process of cosmic housekeeping, Napoleon Hill called it cosmic housekeeping, the daily cleansing of the mind. Think of your mind as a sacred home. You wouldn't invite thieves to dinner, would you? Then why do you let fear dine at your table? You must begin to guard your thoughts with the same vigilance that you'd guard your home. Here's how: 1, inventory your thoughts. Throughout the day, pause and ask, what am I thinking right now? Awareness is power. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. 2, catch the criminal. When a thought of fear, envy, or doubt appears, stop it like a thief at your door. Don't negotiate with it. Don't entertain it. Say to yourself, this thought does not serve me. 3, replace it instantly. Every eviction must be followed by new tenants: faith, gratitude, courage. Speak it out loud if you must. Say, I was not born to be broken. I am built of strength and spirit. 4, feed the mind faith daily. Your attitude is a reflection of your diet: mental, emotional, and spiritual. Read, listen, and watch only that which uplifts and strengthens your focus. Guard your inputs like a warrior guards his weapons. This is not a one-time cleaning. It's daily hygiene for the soul. The cost of neglect: neglect your body, and it weakens. Neglect your mind, and it decays. A mind left unguarded becomes a breeding ground for fear and limitation. Most people don't lose because they face strong enemies. They lose because they let small ones live too long. One doubt tolerated today becomes a belief tomorrow. One complaint repeated becomes identity. And soon, a man who was once filled with fire begins to speak the language of defeat. That is how greatness dies quietly, internally, without anyone noticing. The builder's shield. The builder's mind is not free of negative thoughts. It's simply trained to neutralize them faster than they can spread. When fear knocks, he doesn't open the door. When doubt whispers, he drowns it out with faith. When resentment rises, he replaces it with gratitude. He has built a shield called awareness, and that awareness gives him choice. Choice is the difference between freedom and slavery. You may not control the thought that enters, but you control whether it stays to shape your destiny. The builder's affirmation, my mind is sacred ground. Only faith may enter. Only strength may stay. I will no longer rent my thoughts to fear. I will no longer host weakness. I am the gatekeeper of my mind. And I decide who gets to live here. Repeat it until your mind believes it. Because once your mind learns to reject weakness, it becomes impossible to control you. And that is the beginning of true freedom, the moment you stop living under attack and start living under command. This is the battle against mental invaders. Win it daily, and your attitude becomes your armor. Lose it once, and your mind becomes your prison. The choice is yours every day, every hour, every thought. Every word you speak to yourself becomes an architect of your destiny. There is a secret Napoleon Hill revealed that few truly practice the law of autosuggestion. It is the method by which every thought, every word, every belief you repeat sinks deep into the subconscious mind, the silent engine that governs 95% of your behavior. Your subconscious doesn't debate, doesn't question, doesn't filter. It accepts whatever you feed it, whether truth or poison, and builds your life from that blueprint. So the question isn't whether you are using autosuggestion. The question is, are you using it intentionally or accidentally? The subconscious, the silent engineer of your life. Your conscious mind is the captain, but your subconscious is the crew. The captain gives the orders, but the crew carries them out faithfully, consistently, without question. If you tell yourself, I can't, your subconscious obeys and begins closing doors you might have walked through. If you say, I can, it begins arranging the environment, the people, and the timing to match that belief. This is not fantasy, it's neurology. The brain cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one, so every thought rehearsed with emotion becomes a rehearsal for reality. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But the believing part comes through repetition with emotion, not wishful thinking, not one-time hope, but daily conditioning, the builder's routine of reprogramming. To rewire your subconscious, you must become deliberate about your internal dialogue. You must speak to your mind as a sculptor speaks to marble, with clarity, with vision, with persistence. Follow this daily practice. 1, speak life, not lack, every morning. Before the noise of the world enters, declare who you are becoming. Say it out loud with certainty. I am powerful beyond measure. My purpose burns stronger than my fear. I attract opportunities aligned with my destiny. Do not whisper it. Command it. Because your subconscious only listens to conviction. 2, link words with emotion. A cold affirmation has no power. The subconscious learns through feeling. Feel your words as though they are already true. Let your body experience the energy of success before your eyes ever see it. 3, repetition is reprogramming. You cannot plant a seed once and expect a forest. You must water it daily, morning and night. Consistency transforms suggestion into belief, and belief into behavior. 4, reject counter-suggestions. Every time your old programming whispers, you're not enough, interrupt it instantly and say, that's no longer my story. The moment you argue back, you begin to reclaim your mental territory. The law in action. The most successful people you admire are masters of self-talk. They program themselves with victory before they ever achieve it. Edison said he failed 10,000 times, but he didn't call them failures. He called them steps. Carnegie, Ford, Rockefeller all trained their minds to believe long before results appeared. They were not lucky. They were programmed for certainty. And you can do the same because the mind is programmable and you are the programmer. The transformation principle. Every word you repeat becomes a seed. Every emotion you attach becomes sunlight. Every repetition becomes growth. You are not waiting for life to change. You are training it to respond to your vibration. The universe listens not to your wishes, but to your belief. Say it with me. My words shape my world. My belief shapes my results. I am reprogramming my mind for abundance, and my subconscious now works for me, not against me. The builder's warning. Do not underestimate the power of careless words. A single phrase spoken in frustration. I'll never make it. I'm so unlucky. This always happens to me is enough to undo a week of progress. Guard your speech as you guard your soul, because your subconscious is always listening, and it never forgets a command once given with emotion. You are speaking spells every day, every hour, every word. Make sure they are the kind that build, not destroy. When you finally master autosuggestion, you will discover the real secret of the mind. That belief is not something you wait for, it is something you build. And once your belief is unshakable, the universe becomes obedient. That is the law of autosuggestion, the art of reprogramming your mind to become the person your destiny is waiting for. Desire without discipline is fantasy. Discipline is what makes belief become visible. Every person dreams. Few execute. Every mind imagines greatness. Few translate that imagination into tangible results. And the difference between the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the achievers, is one sacred word: discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is not restriction. It is the language of transformation, the proof that your thoughts are not just talk, but truth in motion, the missing link. The universe rewards clarity, but it only delivers to consistency. You can visualize success, affirme abondance, write your purpose on every wall, but without disciplined action, it all fades into vapor. Discipline is the bridge between thought and reality. Without it, your dreams stay locked in the realm of imagination. With it, you become a living magnet for manifestation. The world doesn't bend for those who hope. It bends for those who act in alignment again and again and again, long after the feeling fades. The discipline of builders, the builders of empires, Carnegie, Ford, Edison were not born with greater brains. They were built with greater control. They learned that the man who cannot govern his habits will never govern his destiny. They mastered themselves before they tried to master anything else. Every morning, they rose with ritual. They didn't wait for motivation. They created momentum through motion. Their minds obeyed their purpose, not their moods. Their bodies obeyed their schedule, not their emotions. They did what needed to be done, especially when they didn't feel like it. That is the invisible discipline of champions, the law of self-governance. Every weakness in life comes from a lack of self-governance. You cannot master your emotions if you cannot master your time. You cannot master your vibration if you cannot master your habits. When you allow distraction, laziness, or indulgence to lead you, you are training your subconscious to accept mediocrity. But when you choose discipline, when you rise instead of scroll, read instead of complain, act instead of excuse, you begin to rewire your identity. Discipline tells your subconscious, I am serious about my destiny. And the moment it believes you, everything around you starts to rearrange in your favor. The resistance test. Here's the truth. No one wants to hear you will never feel ready. The body resists progress because it fears change. That resistance, the urge to delay. The voice that says, not today, is the test. Every time you overcome it, your willpower grows stronger. Every time you surrender to it, your belief weakens. Discipline is the daily act of proving that your purpose is stronger than your excuses. The mind respects what it witnesses. When it sees you act despite fatigue, fear, or failure, it begins to believe you. And belief is the seed of power, the builder's code. Here is a code to live by if you wish to command results. 1, do what you said you'd do. Nothing destroys self-trust faster than broken promises to yourself. Every time you honor your word, your inner confidence expands. 2, master your mornings. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Don't start reactive, start intentional. Begin with silence, gratitude, movement, and your purpose. 3, feed the mind before the world, before news, before notifications. Feed your focus. Read something that lifts your vibration and reminds you of who you are. 4, embrace discomfort as training. Every time you choose discomfort over ease, you signal to your subconscious that growth is safe. That is how you build mental muscle. 5, track your progress, not your perfection. Discipline is about consistency, not flawlessness. Small daily progress compounds faster than random bursts of intensity. The reward of discipline. There is a peace that only discipline brings, a quiet confidence that says, I did what was mine to do. It builds self-respect, and self-respect is magnetic. People trust those who trust themselves. When your actions align with your words, your aura radiates authority. You stop chasing validation because your effort has already validated you. Discipline is how faith becomes visible. It's how belief earns form. It's how ideas turn into impact. The builder's affirmation. I do not wait for motivation. I move with purpose. I am disciplined in thought, word, and action. My habit serve my destiny. My actions mirror my belief. I am consistent. I am focused. I am unstoppable. Repeat this not to impress the world, but to command yourself, because your mind listens to repetition, and every act of discipline is a declaration of power. Discipline does not limit you, it liberates you. And once you master it, you will discover the truth every great achiever learned. Freedom belongs not to those who do what they want, but to those who can make themselves do what they must. That is the bridge between thought and reality, the bridge called discipline. Every defeat carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Napoleon Hill pain is not your punishment. It is your preparation. Defeat is not the end of your path. It is the test that proves you deserve to walk it. The greatest men who ever lived did not escape adversity. They evolved through it. They learned a secret most people never discover. You can either let your struggles define you, or you can make them refine you. And the moment you choose the second path, Your pain turns into power. The truth about defeat. When something goes wrong, a plan fails. A door closes. A person betrays you, your first reaction is emotional. You feel anger, confusion, self-doubt. The weak mind stays there, replaying the story, feeding the wound, nurturing resentment. But the strong mind pauses, breathes, and asks one question: what is this trying to teach me? That question alone transforms defeat from a wound into a weapon, because every adversity carries intelligence. Every setback contains direction, and every painful experience reveals a part of your strength you didn't know existed. Life is not against you, it's trying to shape you. But most people resist the shaping process. They want growth without friction, success without struggle, greatness without fire, yet nothing beautiful is ever born without pressure. The principle of transmutation. There's a law, Napoleon Hill, called the transmutation of failure, the ability to turn defeat into the raw material of victory. Think of a blacksmith forging steel. He doesn't avoid the heat, he enters it, because he knows only fire can make metal unbreakable. Likewise, only adversity can make character indestructible. So when failure arrives, don't curse it, study it. Ask what habit produced this result? What belief attracted this pattern? What must I learn before I rise again? The man who studies his defeats earns wisdom that no book can teach. And that wisdom becomes power, the builder's view of pain, to a drifter. Pain is a signal to stop. To a builder, pain is a signal to grow. When something hurts, he knows he's being trained for a higher level of strength. He doesn't ask for easier circumstances, he asks for greater capacity. Because he knows comfort doesn't create mastery, challenge does. Every time he chooses growth over grievance, he elevates his vibration, and the universe, seeing that he can handle more, sends him more. The redirection of failure. Sometimes the thing that breaks you is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to redirect you. Maybe that rejection wasn't a loss. Maybe it was protection. Maybe that failure wasn't punishment. Maybe it was guidance towards something greater. The universe does not say no. It says not that way. And if you keep your attitude aligned, the redirection becomes revelation. The warrior mindset. The warrior doesn't pray for fewer battles. He prays for stronger armor. He doesn't fear the fight. He trains for it. He knows that adversity introduces him to his real self. And once he has met that version, the one who doesn't quit, doesn't break, doesn't beg, he becomes untouchable. You can't defeat a man who sees loss as lesson. You can't stop a soul that turns pain into fuel. You can't scare someone who already knows suffering is sacred. The builders practice reframe, refocus, rise. Here's how to turn any defeat into power. 1. Reframe the story. Don't say, "This happened to me." Say, "This happened for me." This small change shifts you from victim to creator. 2. Refocus your energy. Instead of feeding the pain, feed the purpose. Ask, what can I create from this energy redirected? Is energy redeemed? 3. Rise with wisdom. The goal is not to avoid falling, it's to rise faster and smarter each time. When you rise differently, you don't return to the same level, you ascend. The builder's declaration. My defeats do not define me, they refine me. My pain is not punishment, it is preparation. I turn obstacles into fuel and setbacks into strength. Nothing that happens against me can stop what was built within me. Repeat this until your mind stops fearing failure. Because when you stop fearing failure, you start inviting mastery. That's when life stops testing your weakness and starts proving your strength. That's when defeat loses its power and you finally gain yours. Environment is stronger than will. Napoleon Hill. You are not just a product of your thoughts. You are also a reflection of your environment, the people you spend time with, the words you consume, the places you dwell in, and the energy you allow around you. Your environment either strengthens your attitude or sabotages it. It either feeds your purpose or drains your faith. It is the amplifier of everything you think, feel, and become. The hidden law of amplification. Whatever vibration you hold within you, confidence or doubt, faith or fear, your environment multiplies it. If you live among complainers, your worries grow louder. If you surround yourself with builders, your courage expands. The law is simple. Your surroundings will always magnify your dominant vibration. That means even a strong mind can weaken in a toxic environment. Even the most disciplined spirit can decay when constantly exposed to small minds, gossip, negativity, or mediocrity. The world outside you is a mirror of the world you've chosen to tolerate. The circle that shapes you. Look around you. Your 5 closest associations form the invisible fence around your potential. If they dream small, you'll feel foolish for dreaming big. If they complain daily, you'll normalize pessimism. If they gossip, you lose focus on your own growth. But if you surround yourself with those who challenge you, who speak life into your purpose, who live with discipline and enthusiasm, then your frequency rises without effort. Your circle is your thermostat. It sets the temperature of your belief. So ask yourself, does my environment expand me or shrink me? The law of environmental curation to train an unbreakable mind. You must curate your surroundings with intention. You can't think like a millionaire while living in the energy of mediocrity. You can't vibrate faith while bathing in fear. You can't speak abundance while your environment screams lack. Here's how the builder controls his environment. 1, control the inputs. What you see, hear, and speak becomes the script of your subconscious. Choose information that uplifts. Replace noise with nourishment podcasts, books, mentors, silence. 2, curate your company. You don't owe everyone access to your energy. Spend time with those who pull you forward, not those who pull you back. Distance is protection, not arrogance. 3, design your space. Let your physical environment reflect your future, not your past. Fill your room with reminders of where you're going, quotes, symbols, books, vision boards. Clean your space, and your mind will follow. 4, protect your mornings and nights. The first and last hour of your day determine your vibration. Don't start with chaos or end with worry. Begin and close each day with intention, gratitude, and vision. The builder's sanctuary. The mind is a garden, and the environment is its soil. If the soil is dry and polluted, even the best seeds cannot grow. But in fertile soil surrounded by encouragement, focus, and peace, the smallest seed of purpose becomes unstoppable. Create what I call a sanctuary of greatness, a space where excellence feels normal. This might mean replacing gossip with growth conversations, replacing screens with study, replacing comfort with creative tension. The moment you step into your space, it should whisper, "Rise higher." That is how you train your aura of success without saying a word. Energy is contagious. People don't just share opinions, they share energy. And your mind, whether you realize it or not, absorbs the vibration of those around you. When you walk into a room filled with confidence, you feel it. When you enter one filled with fear, you feel that too. Energy transfers faster than words. So, and protect your field. If someone's presence drains your clarity, they're too close. If something you watch or read leaves you anxious, it doesn't deserve your attention. Your energy is sacred currency. Spend it wisely, or poverty of spirit will follow. The Builder's Declaration. My environment reflects my destiny. I do not live among doubt. I surround myself with strength, vision, and faith. I guard my mind from negativity and feed my space with growth. Everywhere I go, I carry the frequency of excellence. Make this your vow, because when your surroundings align with your intention, your life accelerates. You stop struggling to stay positive because positivity becomes the air you breathe. You stop trying to find motivation because your environment gives it back to you. And that is when attitude becomes effortless. The great truth is this: you do not rise to your goals, you fall to the level of your environment. So, raise it, curate it, guard it, because your environment is not just where you live, it's what you become. There comes a point in every person's journey where they must decide who they truly are, not who they pretend to be, not who others expect them to be, but who they are when the world is silent and the mirror is honest. You don't rise by chasing success. You rise by becoming the kind of person success feels safe with, because life does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are. If deep inside you believe you're limited, undeserving, or unlucky, you'll find ways to prove it true, not because fate is cruel, but because the subconscious mind is loyal. It protects your identity, even when that identity is small. To become unbreakable, you must first break the illusion of who you used to be. You must release the story that says, "I'm not ready," or "I'm not enough." Those are echoes from the past, not prophecies for the future. Every time you repeat a thought, your mind accepts it as truth. So when you keep saying, "I can't," you build a reality where you won't. But when you begin to say, "I am capable, I am worthy, I am becoming stronger every day," your subconscious starts adjusting your world to match that belief. This is not pretending. This is programming. It's identity training, and it's the foundation of every powerful life. Before Edison built the light bulb, he built the identity of a man who refused to quit. Before Carnegie created wealth, he became the man who expected it. They didn't wait for evidence, they acted from belief. They became success in spirit long before they held it in hand. That's how transformation works. You decide who you are first. You live as that person before the world believes you. And eventually, the world has no choice but to agree. Start seeing yourself differently. You are not the person who fails and gives up. You are the person who learns and grows. You are not chasing worth, you are remembering it. Every day, you are either reinforcing your old identity or building your new one. Every choice you make whispers, This is who I am. When you rise early, when you push through resistance, when you speak your truth, you're not just changing your habits, you're changing your self-image. Your identity is not fixed. It's flexible, alive, and waiting for you to shape it. So speak to yourself with intention. Move with confidence, even if your knees tremble. Show your mind through action who you've decided to become. There will be days when your old self tries to return. It will whisper, "Why bother? You've tried before." That's not a warning, that's a test. It's the echo of an identity dying. Let it go. Every time you choose your higher self over your history, you strengthen your foundation. Your new identity isn't built overnight, it's built one decision at a time. And each decision adds another brick to the unshakable structure of your mind. Say to yourself, I am not who I was. I am becoming who I'm meant to be. I no longer identify with fear, doubt, or limitation. I move with clarity, calm, and conviction. I am the kind of person who cannot be broken because I no longer build from weakness. Say it until your nervous system believes it, until your posture changes, until your energy announces your presence before you speak a word, because when your identity shifts, your results follow. You stop forcing action and start flowing with it. You stop begging for validation and start commanding respect. You stop chasing success because you've already become it. And that, right there, is when you become truly unbreakable. Faith without action is daydreaming. Action without faith is wasted motion. But when faith and action unite, mountains move. There comes a moment in every journey when knowledge is no longer enough, when words, plans, and affirmations must turn into movement, because no amount of belief matters until you back it with behavior. And no amount of effort matters until it's aligned with conviction. That alignment between what you believe and what you do is where all power lives. The law of alignment, faith, and action are the twin engines of creation. Faith gives your action direction. Action gives your faith proof. Without both, you drift. If you act without belief, your energy is scattered. You move, but not forward. You work, but not wisely. It's like planting seeds in frozen soil effort with no harvest. But if you believe without acting, you live in illusion. You speak affirmations, but starve your purpose. You confuse potential for progress. And the universe, though willing, cannot deliver what you refuse to move toward. Faith is the spark. Action is the flame, the discipline of aligned movement. Every time you act on faith, you send a signal to life itself that says, I'm ready. And life responds with opportunity. It's not about massive leaps, it's about daily movement in the direction of belief. The difference between those who wish and those who win is that winners treat faith like fuel and action like duty. When fear whispers, what if it doesn't work? The builder answers, what if it does? Then he moves anyway. Faith doesn't wait for evidence. It creates evidence when the two become one. The most powerful state of being is when your mind, heart, and hands are in harmony. When your thoughts say yes, your emotions feel yes, and your actions show yes. That is when reality bends. You walk differently. You speak differently. You attract differently. Because the world no longer feels your uncertainty, it feels your conviction. And conviction is magnetic. That's why people follow leaders who act with faith, not because they're perfect, but because they're certain. Certainty is rare, and in a world of doubt, it looks divine. The law of unseen momentum. You will not always see immediate results. The universe rewards momentum, not impatience. Every time you take a step in faith, you move invisible forces. Sometimes the soil looks still, but beneath it the roots are forming. Sometimes your effort feels unseen, but destiny is rearranging itself quietly in your favor. So when nothing seems to work, keep planning, keep speaking, keep showing up, because what you do in silence eventually roars in public. Faith under fire. True faith is not tested when things are easy. It's tested when you're tired, uncertain, or alone. When you've done everything right and results still delay, in those moments, most people shrink. But the builder understands this is not punishment, this is refinement. Faith must be tested to be trusted. And when you pass that test, life begins to open doors you didn't even know existed. Every challenge becomes proof of your readiness. Every delay becomes preparation for greater responsibility. Faith is not waiting, it's working while trusting. The builder's alignment practice. Each morning, remind yourself today, I act as if my dream is already mine. I walk as if success has chosen me. I speak as if abundance has already arrived. Not to fake confidence, but to build it, because the body learns what the mind rehearses. And when your mind and movement agree, your future cannot resist you. This is the difference between wishing and commanding, between hoping for miracles and becoming one. The final declaration, I no longer wait for faith to feel perfect, I act in faith. And the feeling follows, I no longer seek permission. I move with purpose and conviction. My belief directs me. My discipline sustains me. My action rewards me. I am the embodiment of alignment. I am faith in motion. When you live from that truth, you stop chasing life and life starts chasing you. You stop trying to convince the world your presence does it for you. Because a man or woman aligned in faith and action becomes unstoppable, that is the final lesson. Faith to see the vision, discipline to walk the path, action to bring it to life. When these three merge, your mind becomes unbreakable, your energy undeniable, and your destiny inevitable. So go walk with certainty. Live your belief out loud, because from this day forward, you are no longer merely a dreamer. You are a builder of reality, and the world now moves to the rhythm of your faith. Listen to me closely, because this is the moment everything comes full circle. You've walked through every stage of transformation. You've learned that attitude shapes destiny, that thought commands reality, that purpose gives direction, and that discipline turns faith into form. But here's the truth. None of it ends here. This is not the end of your journey. It's the ignition point of a new life. From this moment forward, you are no longer just a student of success. You are a builder of it. You are no longer waiting for confidence. You are walking as confidence. You are no longer begging for opportunity. You are becoming opportunity itself. Every time you choose focus over distraction, gratitude over complaint, purpose over comfort, you strengthen your aura. You raise your frequency. You train your mind to attract the life you once thought was impossible. So when the world tests you and it will remember this: your attitude is your armor, your belief is your weapon, your discipline is your shield, and your faith, your unstoppable faith, is your key to everything, because life doesn't respond to the loudest noise, it responds to the clearest signal. And from now on, your signal says, I am unshakable, I am unstoppable, I am unbreakable. That is your truth. That is your legacy. Now, take a deep breath, stand tall, and walk into your next chapter as if you were chosen, because you are. If this message awakened something in you, if you felt that spark of power return to your soul, then don't let it fade. Subscribe to Hill Mindset Legacy to stay on this path of mastery. Each week, we dive deeper into Napoleon Hill's timeless teachings, translating ancient principles into modern power. Like this video, if it reminded you of who you truly are, comment below, I am unbreakable. Let it be your public declaration. Share this message with someone who's ready to rise with you. Because this is not just a video, it's a movement, a global awakening of minds ready to build greatness from within. Welcome to the Hill Mindset Legacy, where belief becomes power and power becomes destiny.